Hey, welcome to Chapter 19, Problem Assignment, Homework Help. Here it is. Let's go ahead and just dive right on in, shall we? Remember, multiple choices on your own, so let's go ahead and hit up the first problem assignment. Following is a partial job cost sheet for a job lot of 2,500 completed units. All right, there's the number of units we've completed. What is the total cost of this job lot? All right, so we're going to look here and we're going to see that we requisitioned materials twice, once on March 8th and once on March 11th. So let's go ahead and add those up. 44,450 plus 23,800. Then we're going to add our direct labor, and let's add our overhead. Remember the word for it. So we're going to go with 220,000 is our total cost. And then our cost per units completed, we're going to take that total cost and divide it by what we completed, which was 2,500. Should be about 88 bucks a unit. Let's go ahead and check that out. All right, good. So we added up all of the costs, both direct materials and then our labor and our overhead. And we took that total there it was, and then we divided that by our completed units of 2,500 to get 88 dollars per unit. All right, next question, number 12. The company estimates the following manufacturing costs at the beginning of the period. There it is. Compute its predetermined overhead rate as a percentage of direct labor and as a percentage of direct materials. All right. Well, we're going to do labor first, right? I think it said labor. It's direct labor. Yes. Okay. So our numerator is always going to be our estimated total overhead costs. Overhead costs, not total. Our denominator is what's going to be the one changing. The first one's going to be direct labor. So our overhead costs said we estimated it as 133,000, and our labor costs was 532,000. So our rate for, if we're basing on direct labor, is going to be 25%. All right, very good. So let's go back now and check on our materials. So it's going to be, again, estimated overhead costs divided by direct materials this time. Our overhead is still going to be the same, and then our direct materials is 216,000. All right, there it is. Maybe a little easy, maybe a little straightforward. Hopefully that helped. Okay. At the beginning of the year, a company estimated total overhead costs of that much. The company applies overhead using machine hours, and it estimates it will use 1,420 machine hours during the year. Let's calculate the predetermined overhead rate, because even if we don't need to, I'm sure we're going to need it, but let's just do it. So $596,400 divided by the number of machine hours we anticipate using. So our predetermined overhead rate is going to be $420 per machine hour. So it looks like job 65A is using 15 machine hours. So we're going to take that $420 rate and multiply it by 15. So our overhead we're going to apply to job 65A is going to be $6,300. Perfect. All right. If you guys have any questions on this homework, please reach out. All right. Let's figure it out. A manufacturing incurred the following actual factory overhead costs. There it all is. Prepare journal entries to record the indirect materials, the indirect labor, and the other actual overhead costs. All right, we can do this, right? We can do this. 6,500 of indirect materials. Okay, so let's get our debit is going to be factory overhead. Actually, let's just do overhead. Should be actual factory overhead. Actory, look at me. Factory overhead, and then it's going to be materials, not direct materials. We're going to pull out of raw materials, I guess. 6,500. Let's just see if raw materials was correct. I don't know if they have it under something else. Okay, good. All right, so the next one we're going to do now is record the indirect labor. We're going to do the same thing over here. Okay, factory overhead. Factory overhead is going to be our debit, and we're going to credit our indirect labor as 9,300. Factory, wages payable. I think that was given to us in the sentence here. Yeah, factory wages payables are indirect labor. So I'm going to feel comfortable with that. Let's just move on to the third one. It says record the other actual overhead costs. So we're going to go factory overhead. And let's leave that blank for now, but let's see what else we have here. We have depreciation on factory equipment. Yes, that's one. Utilities, yep. Insurance, yep. All right, so those three we're going to use. So let's do our factory depreciation. It's going to be accumulated depreciation. Factory equipment, I think it said, right? Yeah, factory equipment, 12,300. And then I think we had utilities. Yeah, utilities and then insurance. So let's do that. Utilities, factory utilities, and then insurance. I think it said prepaid insurance, right? Factory insurance expired. That expired part suggests that we have used it, meaning we prepaid it. So we're going to go 830 and 530. Let's just see if we are on track here. Okay, we are factory utilities. That utilities one was wrong. Utilities payable. All right, utilities payable. I should have paid attention to that. Utilities payable. Let's just go utilities payable. There we go. And then let's add it up, and that's when I did factory overhead. 12,300, 830, 530, 13,660. All right, that should be good. There we go. All right, let's see what the next problem has for us. Ooh, fun. This looks good. All right, we have all this information up here. Prepare journal entries for the following July transactions and events A through E. Okay, so direct materials used. Let's just go up here and read this. Custom cabinetry has one job in process as of June 30th. So the beginning of July, we have one in process. And its job sheet reports direct materials of 6,600, direct labor of 4,100, and applied overhead at 3,485. They apply overhead at the rate of 85% direct labor costs. During July, job 120 is sold for $31,000. Job 121 is started and completed, and job 122 is started and still in process at the end of July. Here are the costs during July. Prepare journal entries for the following July transactions. Direct materials used. All right. So we're going to come down here and we're going to debit our work in process inventory and credit our direct materials used. Or wait, I think it's actually raw materials inventory, I think is a better one for that. Let's just check that real quick and make sure I got those right accounts. Okay, good. I just wanted to make sure now then to make us wait later on. So let's click that. And then we're going to come up here. And what we need to do is just calculate all of this materials here. Let's add 2,300 to 6,200 to 2,700. So we have $11,200. All right, check the work. Great. Do the next journal entry. Oh, return to question. All right. Number 2, we are going to record the entry as direct labor to the job. It's going to be the exact same thing. We're going to debit work in process inventory, and we're going to credit payable. We're going to look for a wages payable or a salaries payable. I think our factory wages payable sounds good. And then we're going to add up all the labor that we used. So 2,700, 4,200, and 2,600. So $9,500. All right, let's check number 3. Oops. Record the application of overhead to work in progress. All right, this one's going to be, we're 85% of direct labor costs. So we're going to just take all of this. And we already did that here at 9,500. We're just going to multiply that by 0.85, and we're going to apply $8,075 to overhead. So we're going to come over here and debit work in process inventory and credit our factory overhead. The amount of, what did I do? 8075. Let's see if we're on track. Let's see if we got these three going right. Perfect, looks good. Let's go back to it and finish this one up. So the next one, run number 4, is record the sale of job 120 on account. All right, so we sold the job for $31,000. And I want to make sure, record the cost of goods sold for job 120. Yeah, okay, so we're going to come down here. This one's going to be easy. Accounts receivable for, I think it was 31,000. Is that what we said? And then sales, 31,000. Yeah, 31,000. All right, then we're going to record the cost of the goods sold. So we had for job 120, 2,300 plus 2,700. Oops, too many zeros. So we had a total of $5,000 here. 2,700 times 0.85. So let's do 5,000. So that is the total cost we applied to job 120 in July. But we had it going in June too. So we got to come up here and we got to add up all these other costs. So we're going to add the direct materials, the direct labor, and the overhead we'd already applied. So it cost us $21,480. $21,480. We're going to credit our inventory, finished goods inventory, and we're going to debit our cost of goods sold. And that should be it for that tab. Very good. Now let's check out requirement 2. Requirement 2 says, compute the July 31st balances of the work in process inventory and finished goods inventory accounts. All right, so we only have 2 jobs left, 121 and 122. 121, 122. Okay, well, the work in process is going to be, wait a minute, it doesn't. This, job 121, direct overhead. All this should be in finished goods. Oh, I see what it's doing. Okay. So I put this in wrong. Sorry, I had to think about this really quick. This is a really bad setup. I don't like it. They shouldn't have this jobs here at all. And you should be able to annotate it in a different manner. So I didn't like this spreadsheet. Anyway, I digress. So all we're going to do is just look up here and see that job 121 has 6,200 because it's finished, 6,200. And then 2,700 in job, 2,700 in job 122 because it's in the work in process, so it's not finished, but job 121 is finished. So 122 has 2,600 in its work in progress for direct labor and 4,200 in finished goods inventory for job 121. So let's just take this, excuse me, I'm about to sneeze. All right, 2,600, and we're going to multiply that by that 0.85, our direct labor head, our overhead rate. 2,210 is going to be there, and then we're going to take 4,200 and multiply that by the 8.85 or 85%. 3,570 is our direct labor for finished goods. So our finished goods job 121 is there at 13,970, and our work in process is at 7,510 at where it's at the end of this, at the end of the period. Again, I don't like that they put these here. What they should have done was put these at the top and then have a place here that said indicate where in the process it's at, and then I could select work in progress and finished goods. I think that would have been a lot better in just spitballing it off the top of my head. So sometimes you may run into these things that aren't very fun. They're not set up very well. I apologize. I can't do that. Can't change that. But the concept is still there. 121 is in the finished goods inventory, and job 122 is in the work in progress inventory. So, all right. So this is problem 16. Let's go ahead or problem 16. Let's go ahead and go over this. The following information is available from ADT Company. which produces special order security products. I think that's a real company, actually. I don't use them, but I think I remember hearing about them. We have overhead applied using a predetermined rate at 55% of direct labor costs. We have all this information that we need. So we're going to do in raw materials inventory T account in certain amounts beginning along with purchases and indirect materials used. Solve for direct materials used in the period. Okay. Oh, all right. So we're going to do T accounts. This looks pretty fun. So let's do that. So our beginning inventory on our T accounts is 30,000. And we're going to be a debit balance. We should have some purchases somewhere. There it is, 190,000. Purchases, 190,000. And then we got to pull out any raw materials that we've used. Indirect materials used. So we have indirect materials there. So when they want it on the right side of these T accounts, indirect materials used, what was it, 17,000? And it's over here too. I don't know why this says cost of goods sold. I'm going to clear that out right now because that shouldn't be right there. Weird. Okay. Indirect materials used was $17,000 worth. So now we need to get an ending balance here of 59,000. So what we're going to do is we're going to take 190 plus 30 minus the 17 and then minus our ending balance to find out what we need. And I'm sorry, the ending balance was 59. So we need 144,000 of direct materials. And we're going to just come over here and put it over here because we put it into direct materials, goes straight to a work in process inventory. All right, let's check our work, see if we're on the right track. All right, looking good. So our T account for our raw materials inventory is completed. It says compute the cost of direct labor used for the period. That's requirement 2 in this different tab. So let's come over here and let's do that. So we have factory payroll and indirect labor here. So factory payroll is the total factory payroll. 300,000. And then we had indirect labor of 69,000. Okay, so less indirect labor. So we're going to take 300 minus 69. That gives us 231,000. So we're going to come over here and we're going to put direct labor. Already forgotten. So what happens when you get old, guys, you got to be careful. 231. Sneaks right up on you. And then we apply, I think it said we apply our rate at 55% is our predetermined overhead rate of direct labor costs. So we're going to take 231,000 and multiply that by 0.55. That's going to give us 127,050. Overhead applied. All right, so now we need to find out what leaves work in process to our finished goods inventory by taking our finished goods, 34,300. That's our ending, 19,300 for work in process, 19,300. So we're going to take this and minus 19,300. So we should be moving 482. Dang it, I didn't think of it. 750. And that's going to be cost of goods manufactured. And let's just check where we're at. Oh, I did something wrong. Oh, because I forgot the beginning inventory. That's why. Always got to remember the beginning inventory. Beginning inventory and work in process was 9,300. Since I didn't account for that, I just need to come over here and add 9,300. So this should be 40. I did it again. 492,050. 492,050. Actually, that should have updated that, but it didn't. So I'm guessing my number is, well, it's correct. But why didn't it update? That's really odd. So I'm going to move it up here. So goods manufactured. No, didn't do that. I wanted to delete that. All right, now it looks good. I don't know why they left that and did that like that. That's really kind of curious. But now we're good. Okay, so let's go to finished goods inventory. And our finished goods inventory, we'll start off with our beginning inventory of 6,300,000. I don't know why I keep saying 6,300. And then we're going to add to it our cost of goods manufactured that we did over in that previous problem. And then we're going to do cost of goods sold. And what we want to do is come up here and get our ending inventory of 34.3. 527.50, 527.50, 34.3. Okay, just making sure that I was right. All right, good. So we took these two numbers and we subtracted out what the ending balance should be, and that's what we got to transfer out of finished goods inventory here. So that's why that goes out. Now our factory overhead. Oh, when we did this, our applied overhead, we needed to apply it over here. 127,050. And this is overhead applied. And then this one was direct labor. No, excuse me, indirect labor. And then this one was other overhead. So when it's a debit balance, we are under applied, meaning we have more actual expenses than we had what we applied. So we're going to call this under applied. Let's check our work. I think we're good. Complete and correct. Very good. All right. And then we go over here to requirement 2, and that was checked out correctly too. All right. Again, if you have any questions, this one's kind of an involved one, but you're going to see the flow in the T accounts and how it works that way. I think it's a really good question for that purpose. All right, number 17. Just kidding. Record the raw material purchase for cash. Okay, these are journal entries, and I did those on the ones before. So you can go ahead and do the journal entries on that one here. This is part 3. What are we doing here? Record the entry for direct labor. Again, you guys should have already done those journal entries, so I'm going to leave that up to you. This video is getting really long anyway. And then record the entry for actual overhead costs incurred, all paid in cash. Okay, you guys should be able to do this. Remember to enter debits before credits, but just remember you're going to start off here with factory overhead. And that's going to leave blank until you account for all the overhead costs. Remember your these 3 are the ones you're going to put there, and then total them up, and that's going to be your debit. Okay, so all right, well, that's it for chapter 19, problem help. I hope you guys had a good time with this. I hope it helped. If you guys have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, we'll see you guys later. Take care.